Hello, nerds, and welcome back to Lily's Ranger Talk, the show where I record episodes out of order. That is right, I am recording this episode, which is episode 4, before I recorded episode 3, which is going to be the Super Sentai Hot Takes. I say going to be, it will be because it'll already be uploaded by then. Anyways, and that is because I just finished episode 25 of BoonBoomgers. And what I usually do on my Instagram, and what I'll still be doing on my Instagram, quite frankly, is I do a halfway review where I give my impressions, what I like about the characters so far, etc., all that jazz. So I decided to do that here, and I'm going to also do it on my Instagram because, just in case I decide not to upload this episode, but I probably will regardless, safety. So yeah, if you follow me on Instagram and you already know what I'm probably going to be talking about, because they're probably going to be the same thing or very similar. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get started. But before we begin talking about BoonBoomgers, I should warn you guys that I will be talking about spoilers. So if you have not seen BoonBoomger yet, I suggest you go and watch it and then come back here. Also, since this is a halfway review, since I'm not a time traveler and I haven't seen the other 25 episodes, we are only going to be talking about the first 25 episodes. And I'm only saying that because by the time I upload this, we'll probably get at least 2 more episodes. So I'm just saying that because for the comments being like, what about this and what about that? Those happened in episodes 26 and 27, and obviously we're only going past 25. So Bakuage Sentai BoonBoomger is the 48th Super Sentai season, and it released March 3rd of this year, 2024. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about basic information, because I was going to try and find a plot line for this, because I am terrible at describing what the plot is, but I could not find a good one, so take with that what you will. Now, for those of you who did not know, BoonBoomger's theme is, once again, vehicles, which I'm sure a lot of us were very annoyed by that. I kind of was too, especially after King Oger having such a unique theme of like royalty and insects, which insects I know Kamen Rider, I think its themes are mainly insects, but for Super Sentai, I'm pretty sure this is the first time that it's solely been based on like insects and stuff, which, that's a very cool theme. And with vehicles, we have so many other Super Sentai seasons that our vehicle theme. We have Car Ranger, we have Go-Ongers. Technically, Tokigers is a vehicle Sentai theme. It's a different vehicle, which makes it a little more unique, dare I say. And then the first one, I think, was the first one that I'm aware of, I think, was Turbo Ranger. I could be wrong, and there could be an even earlier Sentai season than that, but, Turbo Ranger, I know, is one of them. And then I guess Kia Majors. I never consider Kia Majors a vehicle Sentai theme, but some people do. But yeah, what I'm saying is that we have a lot of vehicle themes, and I feel like we could have gone a couple more years without a vehicle theme. So my expectations for BoonBoomger were actually kind of very low, and I think mainly it was just because of the name. I thought it was a very dumb name, because, it's Boon Boom. And for the longest time, I thought it was Boom Boom. But nope, it's Boon Boom. Another reason why I was kind of hesitant on BoonBoomger was because of how great King Oger was. And that's something I could talk about in itself, but King Oger was such a good Sentai season. It really took me by surprise. I know it took a lot of other people by surprise, because it was really good. It was serious, it had some moments. It made some revolutionary changes, like our first non-binary character in the Super Sentai series, and, that's something that's really cool, and I love Rita with all my heart. They are the best. I have a Rita figure, and it's my most prized possession. But yeah, because of how great King Oger's was, and, with what the suits were looking like for BoonBoomgers and the information we were getting, it was kind of I'm kind of worried about this. Another thing that kind of disappointed me at first, And this is my hot take, is that I like a Super Sentai team that's kind of more balanced out with like 3 guys and then 3 girls. And granted, King Ogers wasn't that because Rita is non-binary, but Rita is also female presenting, so you could have an argument with that. But yeah, I really like teams that are balanced out like that, and I feel like we haven't really been getting that within the last couple Sentais. Because Zenkaiger only had one female, and then Dome Brothers only has 1 female, and now BoonBoomger only has 1 female, Mira. That being said, this Sentai season is actually better than I thought it was going to be. Do I think it's better than its predecessor? No. However, we are only on episode 25, so I'm sure that will change. But there are some things about Super Sentai that they're bringing back that I can really appreciate. For example, they brought back the roll calls in almost every episode. Dome Brothers didn't do that. I think they only did it twice, and I think the first time they did it, they didn't even do it with probably Tsubasa because they didn't know who Tsubasa was. 44 episodes, that still bothers me. Anyways, and then in King Oger, I think they only did it maybe twice also. But, which I really missed when they do, like, the roll calls, because, you know, it's fun. And I'm glad that they're doing it now. And it's something I very much appreciate. Also, I don't know if I would call this a comedy Sentai, in like the way that Senkaijers is a comedy Sentai and Car Ranger. Saying that, I haven't watched Car Ranger yet. But I think the generals are funny. And I love how, I don't know if everyone's calling them this, but I know I have been calling them this because I'm still working on like monster names and stuff. Like, I know I don't always know like the name of monsters for like every Super Sentai season I have watched, including like ones that are my favorites. But I love how we're calling the 3 main generals, Itasha, what's the other guy's name? Deco Trade and Yarukar. I love how, I don't know if you guys, like I said, I don't know if you guys are, but I am. I've been calling them Team Rocket. I know I saw someone else calling them Team Rocket, but I've been calling them Team Rocket, and I love how that's a thing. Because they are kind of like Team Rocket in the Super Sentai universe. Another thing that they brought back that I was so excited that they brought back was the ending dances. Now, for you Power Rangers fans who are watching, for those of you who do not know, sometimes Super Sentai seasons will end with a song and dance by the Rangers themselves. And they're fun, and the music is fun, and I love them. It's one of the few things I like about Can Majors, actually, which is the last time we had an ending dance. We had opening dances for both Dome Brothers and Zenkaiger, but then King Ogers, we didn't have anything at all. We had like a TikTok dance that they did for like a episode, but they didn't have like a dance of their own, and I was so sad about that because I thought it would be fun for them to do a dance. But yeah, I'm so excited that we have dances again. My only complaint about them is, so our 6th Ranger, which I have no idea how to pronounce his name. I think it's Sakito or Sekto. I'm not 100% sure. So if you guys can let me know in the comment section, that would be great. So him and Boon Diesel, I believe is his name, they show up in like these bubbles, and they don't always appear at the same time. They are sometimes like different, and I don't know. I just wish they would re-record it. You know what I mean? I feel like it's lazy. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and we're gonna get to the BoonBoomgers eventually. I wanted to talk about the first commander, Mad Rex. Let me get to where he appears. I think he comes in like episode 6. Yes, revealed in episode 6. I thought he was defeated way too quickly. Because I think, when did Gemba come in? because Gemba came in episode 7. So only 2 episodes after Gemba came in and the full team was complete, Mad Rex was defeated. And I thought he was defeated way too easily and way too quickly. Now, granted, I think Mad Rex is coming back in the 3rd arc. So, I guess that technically speaking, Mad Rex wasn't defeated quickly. But still, it took like twice as long for Cannonborg to be defeated. Granted, he didn't really fight until this last episode, episode 25, but still, I thought it was way too easy. Other characters I really like, Mira calls him Boomer, and Shirabe calls him Boomy, but Boon Boon, I think is his name. I love him, and then I also love Boon Diesel, I think is his name. I have Boon D underneath some of these notes. And then I also have, Boon D, spelled different. Okay. I really like their characters. I think they're fun. And, they're companions to both Taya and Sakito? I still don't know. But yeah, I really love them. And I also really love Shirabe. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. At first, I thought she was a villain. And she knows more about the Hush aliens than she lets on. And to my knowledge, I still think the ISA knows something that the BoonBoomgers don't know. But I also think that whatever the ISA knows, I don't think Shirabe knows. She's too much in love with a robot to know anything. But yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about in general. So let's move on to the BoonBoomgers. Okay, 2 things before we get into the BoonBoomgers. Number 1, I'm sorry if you hear any background noises. I am recording the second half on a different day than I did the first half. And second, I'm sorry that the first half of this episode and the Power Rangers opinion episode, because I haven't recorded the Super Sentai opinions yet. I'm sorry that both of those have weird mic noises. I've been holding the mic for both episodes, for that episode and then the first half. So, I played around with the mic settings, and I'm not holding the mic anymore. I have it clipped onto my laptop, so hopefully that's better, and hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me see. I hope you guys can hear me a little bit better without any, interruptions. So, yeah, let's get on to the BoonBoomgers. So I'm going to be going in order of, I have on my notes app, because I didn't make, like I did with Kira Majors, a ranking of how I like each BoonBoomger yet. I'm going to wait until the end of the series to do that. Anyways, so the first one I have is Boon Red Taya Hondo, and the first thing I put on my notes app is that he kind of reminds me of a somewhat happier version of Taro from Dome Brothers, but I mainly think that is because of the delivery service he does. But, I mean, the whole Dome Brothers crew kind of does it, too. But that was just one of the things that kind of reminded me of that. Is the whole, delivery aspect. It made me think of Taro, immediately. And I also have, 3 big questions when it comes to his character. Number 1, how old is he supposed to be? Because I know his actor is 2 years younger than me, and I'm 22, so that means his actor's 20-ish, or 19, 20, depending on when his birthday is. So I want to know if his age is supposed to be like that too, because the second question is, where the heck did this wealth come from? I have no idea. Because he's so wealthy. He owns a bar. That's how wealthy he is. He's so wealthy that in episode 25, he just calls up a satellite dish and hey, can I buy it? So, I just want to know, where did he get his money from? And I guess it goes off of my third question. Where are his parents? Are his parents dead? I don't think we have talked about his, parents yet. I don't think they mentioned like anything about like, oh, his parents are dead. But I just want to know where his parents are. Which, granted, there's a lot of Super Sentai characters where I'm wondering where the parents are. But this one, like, especially is one of them. Something I appreciate about Taya is that a lot of people seem to admire him. Not even just like his teammates, but also like he has a boss, and he doesn't even work for money with for this boss. He just works because I'm guessing he just wants to work and help people get deliveries and stuff and dreams, which is cool. Um, there is one thing that I was a little bit conflicted about in episode 19. So the hash alien of the week, that week was an ATM, and this alien would make people like have to wait up their money, like put down. And since Taya is super rich, he couldn't fight. But he did something that I didn't think he would do, and that is he was like, when Ishiro was like, "Hey Taya, don't fight." I think it was Ishiro who said that. Taya was like, "Okay," and then he just goes back to the base. Now, granted, he does come back during the mecha scene, but that kind of just didn't seem like Taya, and I don't know. It just feels weird. It feels like it was an out of character moment. I might be the only one who feels like that, but that's really the only time where I had a problem with Taya. I haven't had a problem with him that much, and I actually also noticed in a couple episodes how good he is with kids. We have that camping episode with the boss's, I think, nephew. He was really good with kids. And then episode 24, he and the other BoonBoomgers, I made a general note eventually saying that, oh, I like how the BoonBoomgers more or less are all good with kids, minus Ishiro, maybe. But yeah, I think it is something very sweet, and he does seem like a loner at first, and again, episode 24 did kind of confirm that. As a kid, he didn't really make a lot of friends. But it's great to see that he has friends who he can depend on now. And yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about Taya. So up next is Ishiro Maita. And the first point I have about him, because he is Boom Blue, blue equals we never know a lot about the blue characters. And I wanted to know more about him, which we did eventually get. In episode 14, we got to learn a little bit more about him. But one of the things I put down was he was hilarious in episode 6. And if I'm remembering this correctly, since Ishiro does not trust people, he was a little weary of Boom Black. So he spied on Joe. And he gets hit with, like, this beam, and I think it let out his, like, inner, like, feelings. And he was, like, so expressive and emotional and stuff. And he was like, "You're so good in this team," and it just made me really laugh. And I also put down, again, a lot of these are in episode 14, because that's when we learn more about him, like how he goes to the aquariums to like calm down. And I think that was the first time in like ever I seen Ishiro like smile, like genuinely smile. Like he wasn't even under anything, he just had a smile. And he earned my respect pretty much in episode 14. And there is one thing that I am confused about, because I don't know if this was ever addressed. But Mira, and I think a couple other people, but I know Mira was one of them, calls Ishiro Cheshiru. And I don't know if there was a reason. But yeah, I was wondering about that, because I don't think it was ever explained. Maybe I need to go back and watch and see. But yeah, I also have this note. I saw someone ship him with Taya. I agree. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I feel like he is like automatically like, Taya's right, and he's probably like contracted because he is like a freelance spy. I got that off of the Ranger wiki because I was like, I don't know anything about this guy. But I think that's all I have to say about Ishiro. Okay, it's weird. So up next is Boom Pink, which is Mira, Mira Shifudo. You think I would have more notes on her? Maybe I do in like the general notes. But she has a lot of focus episodes. She had good episodes in like good focus episodes in the first episode and in the third episode. I do love how like she was on her bike trying to like deliver this package, and was that the episode where Taya thought that she was doing that on purpose? I can't remember. Cause like I know sometimes they put her up on pawn when they were a 3-person team. But yeah. She's dedicated and I love that, and she trusts everyone, which is different from Ishiro. Ishiro. I keep messing up these names, I don't know why. And I also put, if Taya X Ishiro or Taya X Mira doesn't happen, Ishiro X Mira death will. I don't know. I feel like these 3 characters have a lot of chemistry, at least in the earlier episodes. And I also feel bad for Mira's ex. But we saw that he was a bit controlling, and he also took, Mira's willingness to comply. Like, he took advantage of that, because that's something I also noticed, that Mira is usually taken advantage of by people because she's so willing to comply. But yeah, I really don't have a lot to say about her. I think she's pretty. I think her actress is very pretty. And I don't know. I think she's a really good character. She's very spirited, and I like that about her. And I feel like I already said that, but oh well. But yeah, overall, I like Mira. I love her outfits too. I think her outfits are really cute. But yeah, let's move on. The good news is that I have a lot to say about these next 2 characters. First being Boom Black Joe Akusi. I butchered these names. I'm so sorry. The first thing I put is a character I want to hug. Because when you think of, like, a cop character, like, especially in Super Sentai, the first person I think of is actually Sakura from Lupat. He's my favorite because he's not like the other 2 cops. And granted, Tsukasa has, like, that thing where she loves stuffed animals. And then there's Ki-chan. I know that's what Kairi called him. Ki-chan. He's kind of, like, serious all the time. But he does have a soft spot. But, I like cop characters who aren't like cop characters. And Joe is kind of like that. And he seems to have a really good heart. He joined the team in episode 5. So we only had, like, the 3-person team for, like, the first 4 episodes. He is kind of a weak cop. I put at first, because obviously he became a BoonBoomger, so now he's very strong. But, because he always got into kerfuffles with the enemies. But, so I see why Taya at first was like, I don't want you as a BoonBoomger. But he got beat up and proved I'm wrong, I guess. Oh, the truth toilet. That's what I was talking about with, Ishiro. Oh yeah, because it was the toilet monster, which I thought was really funny and was very well designed. But yeah, even when he was blasted with that, at the end of the day, his goal was still to protect people, and I loved that about him. And also, everyone loves him. I have seen, like, in that same episode, like, everybody was like, oh, hey Joe, how are you, Joe? Here, have a free food, Joe. And then there was episode 15. This episode killed me. It was one of those episodes, where one of the monsters actually turned out to be, like, a good monster. And, of course, it was Joe who found him, and, like, he was gonna take care of him. He was like a pet. And I was, like, crying. Like, it was so cute. And then at the end of the episode, when Joe was the one who had to destroy him, I was so gutted. I was like, what the heck? That was so hard to watch. And you know what's the last thing I had on him until I think whenever Zoom Zoom 1119 came? And that I thought it was so funny when he was talking about, oh, I want an upgrade. And then I also put, and I mentioned this with Ty, how I thought most of the BoonBoomgers were good with kids. I think I put this during the episode where Joe was, teaching, like, the kids baseball. I said Joe is also good with kids, but it doesn't surprise me because he's the go. So, it's clear that I have a favorite, but I also have a favorite. The next one is a favorite, too. So, up next is Boon Orange, and this was the, ranger I really thought and hoped was going to be a female. Maybe even copying off of Cosmic Fury, since Fern was just a female Orange Ranger at the time. Maybe that's why I was hopeful. But man, am I glad it was Gemba. I really love Gemba. There was just one thing I was honestly very confused about, and that was, I thought he was going to become a BoonBoomger first. I mean, I thought he already had the Morpher, but I guess he didn't, because then Taya gave him the Morpher again. I don't know. But I thought he would join the team first, since he was already associated with Taya and the others. He was like a curator, I think, and still is. So, that was very confusing. I really thought he was going to join first, but I guess not. He joined the team in episode 7, I already said that. And he delivers things to the BoonBoomgers, and Taya respects him that much. That's why, he decides he wants to join him right away. Almost, which is, compared to Joe, where Joe was like, I want to be a BoonBoomger, and Taya was like, nah, man. I saw Fury at one point that he could be the main villain, and I don't think that was going to be the route, and clearly it wasn't. I feel like if it was the route that he was going to be a villain, it would have already happened. But then Gemma worked with Team Rocket, but he did that. I don't remember what episode it was, but there was those speakers, and I think he did it so he could break the speakers. But yeah, I thought he is very silly sometimes. Sometimes he's serious, sometimes he's silly. And I think about this with the BoonBoomgers, like, I say that, like, Joe and Mira are, like, the fun ones. And then Taya and Ishiro are, like, the serious ones. And then Gemma's, like, somewhere in between. But now that I'm, like, saying that out loud, I think, with the exception of Ishiro, I think they're all the fun ones. But, like, have their serious side, because they all do. Also Candy Detective, which I think is the same episode where Boom Boom Safari gives Gemba his trust. I think. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't think it is. But either way, Candy Detective was very cute and funny. And I do like how, like, Gemma can sometimes be seen, like, sucking on a lollipop. I think it's very cute and silly. And, yeah, I really like Gemba. I'm gonna do an edit of him at some point. And Joe. I want to do an edit of most of these characters. And last but not least, we have, again, it's either Sakto or Sakito, aka Boom Violet. So he makes his debut in episode 16, which, compared to most of the recent Six Rangers, because it's something I've noticed that the Six Rangers have been coming on as early as episode 8. I think one of them was episode 8. I think it was Zox from Zenkaiger, who came like episode 8 or something. So, compared to, the most recent Six Rangers, he came on decently late, which, to me, that's great, because I feel like we need to have time with, like, the 5 core Rangers before we add a 6th person into the mix. Or we should just start with 6 Rangers, honestly. That's good. I know they add 6 Rangers for toys, but does it really matter if we have, like, a 6th Ranger right away? I don't know. But anyways, like Taya, he has a robot bunny, Boon Diesel, or Boon D. And he has super speed outside of his suit and also in his suit. He is known as, I think, like, the speed cleaner. I know he's known as cleaner. And I want to know, so he's from Earth, but he also is from space. And he was kidnapped, taken willingly. I want to know about that. I don't think we've learned about it yet. And, you know, he was very, like, cautious of Taya and the others at first. He even kind of worked with the Hashalians at first. And it was very confusing, like, whose side are you on, man? And I have Chaos Inducer. Okay, I don't know what that means. I think he said that, and that's why I have it. But one of the big questions I have, so obviously he worked with the Hashalians. I want to know if he has a connection to them, especially because in the last episode, Cannonborg was like, don't you want to defeat, like, the main guy? But yeah, I wondered if maybe he worked with them at some point. That's what that's what my theory is, that alluding theory, I don't know. I'm great with words, guys. I'm a writing major. But I think that's where we're getting at, is that I think he is connected to the enemies somehow. There is one thing that I thought was gonna happen, but doesn't. Similar to Eric from Time Force, because I can't remember Timefire's actual name, but so you know how, like, Eric is, like, the anti-hero, kind of, like, he's a ranger, but he's not with the team. That's what it was looking like it was going to be at first. Like, yeah, he joined the team, but he was very weary of Taya, and he didn't even, like, interact with him much in the first couple. Well, he interacted with him, but, like, he wasn't, like, with the team, if you know what I mean. Like, he would go into the basic events at some point, but, like, for the most part, he and Boon Diesel were on their own. But I don't know when this started. I noticed it in episode 24 when, like, they went to the after school care thing. But, like, he started to, you know, be with the others more. And even in episode 25, like, he was in the base and they were hanging out with each other and they went to the fireworks shows together. But yeah, that was just something I noticed, and he even talks about in episode 25, he learns that he's better with a team. But I want to know when that kind of started. Did that start? It probably started underneath my nose and I'm just stupid. But yeah, that's everything I have on Sekito or Secto, or please tell me in the comments how to pronounce it. But yeah, and I think that's everything on the BoonBoomgers. There is one more point I wanted to talk about. So there was this gimmick that they started with the mecha, like, in the first couple of episodes, where Yarukar would, like, suck up the monster's gasoline, is what they collect, and then goes into, like, this space void racing thingy, and then the BoonBoomgers would follow, and they would, like, you know, fight with Yarukar, and then Yaru would just come out of the void, vomit out the gasoline, and make the monster grow. I'm kind of glad that they changed that, because I'm going to be honest, it was cool the first time. It was cool the second time. It was starting to get old. Like, it was like, I think they stopped doing it, I don't know, episode 10 probably, whenever Cannonborg came, because he modified Yarukar. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that they don't do that anymore, because it's cool, but like it's also kind of gimmicky. So I'm kind of glad that they dropped it. I do hope they bring it back occasionally, like every now and again, but they probably aren't. It's kind of similar to Dome Brothers, how they did like the changing of suits, similar to Gokaiger, but then they just dropped it eventually. And yeah, it was kind of weird that they did that, but yeah, overall, my opinions on BoonBoomger so far is that it is looking to be a really good season. I don't think it's as good as King Oger, but I think it's worth a watch. And thank you so much for watching this video while listening. If you guys like what you heard, please subscribe. We're going to try and do these every week. I am going back to school next week at the time of recording this. So I'll probably already be in school actually. So we'll figure that out together. But I will always be active on my Instagram, which is Lilies_RangerWorld. Please follow me there, and we can have a conversation, and we'll have a fun time. Thank you guys, and I love you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.